Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are playing as Austria. This is episode 2. And what's primarily going on? Number one, we're trying to get a hold of more of southern Germany. We've got a hold of Franken and Bayern. These are the former core territories of Bavaria, which is now only over here, right on the French border. We're trying to deal with our paper shortage, which I'm building paper mills to resolve, and we'll see if that works. If it doesn't, then the intelligentsia will be unhappy, and them's the breaks. We will be a South German Federation candidate, but we'll need to win a war in order to make ourselves a unification candidate. So what are the other countries that are South German in culture? Not a lot of them. It seems like just... Oh, Hohenzollern is. Okay, it seems like just Württemberg, Baden, and Hohenzollern, which is currently a puppet of Prussia. So it seems unlikely, but we might give it a shot. I guess the rest of Bavaria is as well. How much longer do we have our truces? Our truces last another year. Alright, so we gotta be a little bit conscientious about that. But it shouldn't be that big of a deal. We still have pretty good... Ooh. We're improving our relations with the French. We're getting there. Great Britain relations are good. Prussia relations are good. Russia, same deal. Sorry, I'm just reviewing all this because it's been a minute since I got started, but we'll get ourselves unpaused here. But yes, our primary question is Hungary. We need to get them going down in liberty desire. And to accomplish that, we're increasing the size of our armed forces significantly. After that, we're going to build up our university system. And that's about it. We're also trying to get our infamy going down. Hungary is going down a little bit less than... Okay, that's because of the change in army power projection ratio. We are reducing subject payments. We are giving them knowledge sharing, and relations are really good. They're currently defiant, but again, if we can get them going... Stop going up! Go down! That's okay. That's okay. We've got about another, couple of months until our infamy is low, and that'll get them ticking downward. And then we'll continue building up our armed forces. So, we need paper to be cheap in our market. Let's see the market price ratio here. Paper is still pretty expensive. We're building up paper mills in Venice right now. We have a shortage of market access in Styria. Is it really being built there? There's one built already, but it's not... Actually, let's fix up these railway production methods across the country. Ooh, got a new training method available. Should have noticed that before. Whoopsie doodle. Fishing ports... let's leave that for now. Experimental trains are still the only trains we got access to. Wooden passenger carriages, let's do it, and let's subsidize. That's going to make them fully operational. It's going to cost the government a little cash, but that's okay. Come on, paper mills. If this doesn't work, I'm probably Robert Borked on the whole paper thing. But again, intelligentsia shouldn't be too mad about this. We're almost there. Prussia breaks the Treaty of the Holy Alliance. Well, that's unfortunate, but I understand, ultimately. Let's increase relations so that they can't do too much against us. We are taking on significant credit at this point, but cash flow is doing okay. So I think we'll be alright. And there's the setup paper import mission completed. That's made our intelligentsia happier. And we did that by reducing the price of paper in our customs union. Prussia? First of all, how dare. Alright, infamy is down. That means Hungary is still not going down as much as I would like. Why does this number keep not being as much as I... Is it clout of political lobbies? It must be. Can I fund lobbies? I don't have central banking, so no. Interesting. I guess really the only path is increasing my army power projection, so I gotta really do that. Let's continue working. Alright, General Command Vienna needs more units. Let's put 3... Prussia's expelled our diplomats. Well, Prussia, you are just being such a bother today. How can we not, as fellow Germans, simply be simple and regular? Can we be regular towards each other, Prussia, please, for once in your life? Alright, let's add a little bit more artillery and cavalry to this army. This is, and then General Command Lemberg will add a few more units. And then, oh, some of these units need to be upgraded. Oh, man. Gosh, and also golly, look at that. Alright, so we're building up a pretty significant increase in our overall military capabilities. Yes, please upgrade. There we go. Alright, so we need 1, and then 2. Let's go with Bayern. And 4. Does that put everyone on even numbers? Round numbers? I'm hoping so. If it doesn't, tragedy, but what can be done? What does the ammunition market look like? The ammunition market is a little bit weird, but I can remove my import subventions, and that will allow my... Oh! I say excitedly, as though I'm happy about this molasses flood. And that should help my homegrown munitions industry to support itself. A storage tank full to the brim with molasses intended for rum distillation has burst, flooding the streets of Prague's commercial center, killing dozens and injuring hundreds of bystanders. The molasses, waist-deep, covered the streets and swirled and bubbled around the wreckage. Here and there a struggle to form. Whether it was animal or human was impossible to tell. Only an upheaval, a thrashing about in the sticky mass, showed where any life was. Close the distilleries while the wreckage gets cleared, reduce food industry's throughput, or one tragedy must not stop progress. Bunch of radicals in the machinists, engineers, clerics, and shopkeepers sections of society. So this is Berman. Food industries are level 4 and they're being automatically downsized. Yeah, let's reduce their efficiency. Whatever. They're not going to be around much longer. Let's go ahead and drop the universities back to the bottom again, as I always do. I do always be doing this. Let's go ahead and throw anything in a sector that's going to build slower back towards the bottom of the queue. And then we'll put the universities at the end again. And then these barracks will get built very fast, and hopefully that will increase our relative power projection compared to Hungary, as well as our other neighbors. We're in position 3 in terms of the great powers. We're still behind Russia, and of course Great Britain, who is catapulted ahead, as they always do. Okay, we've gotten Hungary going down, liberty desire-wise, by improving our army power projection. And hopefully, as we increase the size of our army, which we can support financially, we'll continue to improve that state of affairs. Now, in technology, we're working on a bunch of military techs. I think after that, I want to snag... Well, nationalism we're almost done with. I think I may want to clear out the tier 2s so that I can get steel frame. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. It's still really early on in the game. I keep forgetting it's still pretty early on in the game. I don't need to be hurtling towards the tier 2 military ones. Let me check where I am. I've got quite a few places where I've got insufficient taxation capacity. East Galicia. Have you upgraded your government sectors? You have. Alright, so we do need more of them. Bohemia, obviously, need more of them. Let's do a couple built up. Anywhere we don't have... I guess Franken and Bayern. Well, hold on. Franken... Bayern is just the timed modifiers. Franken is... And that's the recently conquered modifier. Bayern is partially insufficient taxation capacity. Let's go ahead and... Okay, they're still in there. They're already on the higher production method. And then where else? Mähren. Moravia, we'll add one more level. West Galicia and Lombardy. West Galicia, I said. We'll just upgrade the method. And then Lombardy is here. Have we upgraded the method? We have. Alright, so we'll queue in one more thing. Obviously, we're costing ourselves a significant amount of cash at this point by doing this big military increase. But again, that's going to get Hungary's liberty desire going down at a really effective rate. Again, as this number goes down, that's our primary way we can do this. So it's got to justify the military expenditure. It simply has got to. Keeping control of Hungary is too important for imperial security not to concern ourselves with it. So, let me see. What are the actual... Okay, so the construction capacity in some of these areas is not that extremely penalized. So I'm not too worried about it. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. Again, these areas are core territory for us. They're almost entirely South German. And South German is our primary culture. So it makes sense that we would build up a significant amount in these areas. Because they're our power base that will allow us, and developing them highly will allow us to hold all of our crown lands, including Hungary. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. If I can get this, the army power projection ratio number below 20, I'll be really, really pleased. They're not getting any from support and dependence. Did we have a truce? No, we don't. They did recently ask to be more independent, though, so if I can get them below 75 within a reasonable time frame, then I can feel really good about my ability to... Well, gosh, Shaggy. About my ability to do this. Alright, well, I've got countries I can sway in here. Great Britain is not going to side with anyone. Wow. This is a German leadership diplomatic play. Well, Garsh, I sure wish I wasn't in one of these. But them's the breaks, I guess. So, can I get the French in on this? No, I certainly can't. Can I get the Russians? No. Do Russia and I not still have our Holy Alliance? We do. Interesting. Alright, well, let's mobilize. Prussia, you will find my army significantly better prepared this time around. And can my native munitions industry support this level of mobilization? Let's find out together. Well, it's gonna have to. It's not gonna be pretty, that's for sure. Oh boy, a lot of countries are unhappy now. Alright, we're producing a sufficiency of munitions. Alright, I can get Baden in here and I can get Württemberg in here. but not by giving up something I would. So Russia doesn't want to call ally. Why not? Relative preference for Austria is very low. Well, that's unfortunate. I feel quite sad. Friends, I feel sad. We need more leadership in this army. So let's increase the leadership of this fella, von Westmeath. Now, do we go and defend Schleswig-Holstein? Or do we hold... If we go to defend Schleswig-Holstein, that weakens our ratio somewhat. If we can just get our armies sorted, that'll be fine. But the situation is sorted. It's a hard time. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up conscription. General Command Vienna. Let's conscript in the new areas, just infantry. General Command Lemberg. Have you raise the conscripts? KK Army in Italy. Yeah, we'll just raise some infantry. We'll raise some artillery over here. Should be able to support that from a command capacity perspective. Not as many conscripts as I should like, but that's the foibles of having a professional army. Alright, and these folks are running across here. Prussia also doesn't have much of a navy, so we shouldn't really be challenged on the sea. I've got Hungary and I've got Holstein on my same side, which is good. I think I'll probably pull the other crown lands in as soon as the war begins. I think I'm going to raise military wages. It's hardly going to cost me anything, truthfully. And do I raise taxes? Ooh. Taxation is a little bit difficult to increase at present. But again, if I keep my armies on defense, I shouldn't have too much of a problem. General's misfired cannon. I don't need this right now, fellas. We're leading up to a war here. An affair between Karl Ludwig von Fickelmont and Clemens von Metternich's spouse has reached our ears, threatening to affect his public image if we don't destitute the general. How could you smooch the wife of the man basically running the country? Surely your strategic sense is not this poor. Oh, man. As if being caught in the act wasn't enough, Karl Ludwig von Fickelmont stepped from the bath to see a telltale rash spreading. There was only one liaison he was seeing. Now there was no denying it. Not after the general's very flesh betrayed the affair. We still need a general. These are personal matters. Clemens von Metternich has a 10% chance of becoming an alcoholic. Reduce morale damage. Don't love that. And he becomes syphilitic, which doesn't affect things. And the landowners become unhappy, and they both become syphilitic. Or we cannot trust a man like this. Fickelmont will step down and Metternich becomes syphilitic. I'm going to do the second one. Obviously, this is going to create a little bit of a shortage in command capacity. Let's go with this guy, General Ludwig von Benedek. He's a grifter, an offensive planner, and a stalwart defender. Now, let's put him on defend front. He seems pretty good. He's a traditionalist. That's an ideology we support in Austria. Organization is looking mostly good except for General Command Lemberg. But they're almost to their place, and they'll start getting organization as we go along here. Now, if I... Ooh, Kitzbühel has a castle. Would that help me? Where are you? Has the castle? You're not that much of a force. Again, I can't really... It's a shock that I can't call Russia into this. Why not, Nikolai Romanov? Do you really prefer the Prussians that much? Are you truly so short-sighted about the future of Europe that you would prefer the Prussians to me, Austria, your friend and ally and loyal friend for so long? Perfidious Russia. Happily, the Brits are not in on this, so hopefully we can sort it out like civilized people. Now, Prussia, your army is significantly smaller than mine, so hopefully both of us will get war support protection, and then I can just wear them down. I don't want to steal any territory in this, purely because I want to I don't want to give them any more war support protection than they already have. So, anyway, come at me, Prussia. My army is still increasing in size. My cash flow will be doing much better later when I'm not building stuff in the midst of a war. In fact, it'll be doing really great, I dare say. I dare say it will be doing great. I will be so pleased. Oh, France has become a republic. Ugh. The rise of legitimacy is short-lived. I just got a bunch of extra conscriptable battalions. That's very good. Let's go ahead and conscript more battalions, shall we? We'll conscript more Italians into battalions. Let me see, that's 25 and 27. Now we're at 28, 29, 30. Beautiful. So we're on defense for now. Our enemies are attacking, presumably. This front, let's get going forward. We're doing pretty well. We'll set the strategic objective to Brandenburg. In fact, we're going to have all of our armies set their strategic objective to Brandenburg. A subtle cat, I am not. Ooh, new mandate available. Wonderful. Let's see. I'm starting to feel a stronger need for defensive cooperation. That having been said, I don't need that urgently. Let's go for more police coordination. That will make our movements less active, which will be very good. It appears that we are successfully defending here. Or, not over here. Alright. Transylvania. Your liberty desire is very low. Where is the... Okay, so you're in the war. Croatia, Slavonia, you're in the war. Oh, why did I think they weren't in my war? Weird. Harvest conditions started. All right, and we are pressing forward on this front, so that's very good. I'm costing myself a huge barrel full of cash here, but I'm almost done building up my barracks. And private construction queue is building up small arms industries, but not in Austria. So that's good. We're successfully defending here. We are, in fact, losing a defensive battle over here, which I'm not super duper pleased with. But, you know, hopefully we'll be able to remedy that and get back to being winning. If I can be mostly cash... As soon as these can get finished being built, I can get to be mostly cash flow neutral, and I would feel really happy about that. Why are you still experiencing such a huge problem of forces? I genuinely don't know how to solve this problem. They're at 20, 15, 5. which is balanced, and then they're 20 and 18. Okay, I get it. It's not ideal. Let's put a few more infantry units in Styria. Egypt wants a war goal of conquering Karadag, which is, I believe, no, it's not Bosnia. It's Montenegro. If I back them against the Ottoman Empire, that's lovely. I must decline because I'm over here. I'm fighting for my life here, Egypt. I'm not a friend you can count on. You do have a friend in me, but only kind of theoretically. Alright, Hamburg is backed out. That's good. We're still going forward over here. Let's throw these... Oop, that's not the button I meant to be doing. Ha 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 ha. Brunswick is out. We'll finish out this one in Bayern first, but hopefully this will get us going forward within a reasonable... Ooh, General Commando of Vienna is short because of a shortage of supply. What are we short? Oh, no, it's because we don't have sufficient command capacity. Promote this fella. This guy gets a field marshalship. He's in the field. He's marshalling. He's a field marshal. There we go. Beautiful. Actually, force comparison up here is really, really rock solid. So I'm feeling pretty good about that, and we're successfully defending down here in the south. So that's also rock solid. Alright. They're pressing forward again on various fronts. And we are successfully defending here. We're successfully defending here. I think we're successfully defending here. And we're definitely successfully defending here. Alright, so this is pretty good. Bremen is out. We're short on convoys now. We're losing convoys. Alright, that's not ideal. Let's... This hurts, because I don't have a lot of port capacity. And my ports are currently subsidized. Ports take a long time to build, and I really need to be using this money for building up barracks. But I've got to do it, because I've got to maintain ports. We're not actually losing that many. Let's put our navy on the seas. We'll escort convoys. Ooh, extra army defense. That's very good. I'm not winning this battle, unfortunately. Waldeck is out. Force comparison's looking better than ever. Krakow is in default. Well, Krakow... Chin up. Try to be normal for a bit. You can handle it. How much am I paying in interest? 11K. Oh, that hurts. That hurts real bad. Alright, so do I start pushing forward? I think I'd give it a little bit longer. Their war support is lower than mine. Schwarzburg. Their side has lost 100% of battles, which is good. Both of us have war support protection at present, so neither of us is going to be out of this war too soon. Mecklenburg is bailed. There's still a front over here. If we can defeat that front, we can do as we like. Let's go after their navy. Alright. It seems as though the Russians are losing against the Ottoman Empire. Does the Ottoman Empire have the Brits involved? They don't. How curious. Russia, how are you losing against the Ottoman? Tell me. Tell me of this. Tell me of the nature of this military failure of yours. Okay, force comparison looks good. Let's go ahead and get our lads advancing. We'll see if we can make a dent in the enemy. Trooper convoys. Gosh dang it. Well, we're winning over here. We've almost got our new ports completed. Here's a battle, and we're losing. Dang. Really not what I was hoping for. But them's the breaks. We have an artillery shortage. Gosh dang it. Are our artillery foundries running? They largely are. Austria, do you have steel mills here? You don't. Alright, well, I hate to keep building everything in Styria, but they got steel mills, so let's get some artillery foundries under construction. This is not ideal. And the munitions plants are... I need to build them up too. Gosh dang it. I think maybe actually for now... No, it's too vital to the country to stop building. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna increase import subventions for both of these. Austrian-British Fellowship offers us an opportunity to acquire trade privileges from Great Britain. The lobby has offered to use their connections to smooth the negotiating process. The negotiations, done under the table with a representative of the British government, have been long and arduous. The British representative knew they were dealing with a group without power to match theirs, and they'd adjusted their strategy accordingly. Nevertheless, they'd come to an agreement. Nothing in writing, but that was hardly important. When the government sent the official copy, if they did, they would find that there was already a drafted response waiting in London. We'd be happy to pursue this, or this is not in our interests. Yeah, we'd be happy to pursue this. Petitioners approach government. Several prominent supporters of the German national movement have approached the government with an ambitious petition to see through their agenda. The petition has been promoted as a necessary starting point amongst the movement's membership. There were at least 100 signatures in the paper, some unintelligibly ornate, others generic names that the official would have to do some incredible feats of deduction to narrow down. This was the benefit of a petition. Past a certain point, it became infeasible to punish every signatory. If one person dissented, it would be easy to scoop them up, but when it was 1,000, things became much more difficult. Permit debate on the issues, reduce enactment time, stronger German national movement, but less active. Okay. The formal procedures of government must be upheld, reduced legitimacy, increased activism, reduced strength of the movement, or order an investigation to this convenient list of names. 2% of middle stratum pops in Austria become more radical. Significantly weaker movement, but more active. I'm going to go with the first one. That's just fine. German national movement, I'm delighted with that. Alright. Our military issues are supply issues are sorted for now. We seem to be losing battles on offense. So let's go ahead and halt our offensive action for the time being. At least on this front. I might rethink things in the northern front. Kaiser Ferdinand von Habsburg-Lothringen abdicates. Because of the health of Kaiser Ferdinand von Habsburg-Lothringen has been in decline, Clemens von Metternich has convinced him to abdicate in favor of his heir Franz-Joseph von Habsburg-Lothringen. Franz-Joseph von Habsburg-Lothringen kneels before the Kaiser and requests a blessing before he occupies the Austrian throne. Ferdinand von Habsburg-Lothringen regards his successor and lays both hands on his head. With the sign of the Holy Cross, Franz-Joseph rises. A new chapter for Austria begins today. May his imperial and royal apostolic majesty's reign be a success. The effects of completing the Age of Metternich journal will improve. Excellent. Franz-Joseph is our new Kaiser. So, Franz-Joseph. Let's see. You are aligned with the Kleinbürger, the petite bourgeoisie. You are pious, stronger clergymen, and direct, stronger officers. You can achieve a much more legitimate government by moving the Kleinbürger into the government, a slightly less legitimate one by bringing them in addition to the Catholic Church. Let's do it. Any law changes? Let's hold on that for now. And then, forbidden love. The Kaiser's heir, Franz-Joseph von Habsburg-Lothringen, that's our current Kaiser, but the events popped at the same time, has caused a scandal by declaring his love for a young North Italian woman. It is the opinion of this author that our vivacious Kaiser may be truly, impossibly, uncomfortably in love. This news has undoubtedly distressed the tons aspiring women, but I imagine it must be a new glimmer of hope to the eyes of North Italian people far and wide. Can you believe it, Lady Hill? And you didn't even have the decency to be quiet about it. What of the bloodline, Lord Dawson? Yes, what of the children, Lord Dawson? Will no one think of the children? Don't fret, Lady Annesley. The Kaiser will surely intervene. He's not going to intervene now. He's the Kaiser. This man is the Kaiser now. So here are options. The Kaiser will act according to his station. He becomes wrathful. He becomes withdrawn from public life, reducing his popularity for 50 years. That's not great. Wrathful as ruler is extra authority. That's not bad. But reduced opposition, or no, it's not. That's not going to affect opposition interest groups because he's the Kaiser. Unfortunately, the young woman has disappeared. 25% of North Italian pops become more radical. He gets well-known tragedy, plus 25 popularity. Ooh, that's pretty dark. Or we must let love be love, plus 20 acceptance of North Italian culture in Austria. He loses popularity by 25. That's not ideal. But his ideology changes to enlightened royalist. Strongly endorsed monarchy, strongly endorsed multiculturalism. Ooh. Strongly endorsed protected speech. Women's suffrage and compulsory primary school. This is really interesting. This would be what I would do if I were going for a more optimal game. With that having been said, gotta stay hydrated, friends. We're playing a traditionalist playthrough right now. So the Kaiser is just going to have to act according to his station. That's going to get us a barrel full of authority, not as much as I was hoping, but enough to get one more consumption tax, which will help our finances just a wee bit. A wee tiny bit. Only a few more weeks till we're done building these and we can pause government construction. With the accession of Kaiser Franz-Joseph to the throne, the long-serving Chancellor Clemens von Metternich has announced his retirement. The chapter of history defined by his statesmanship has come to a close. But, after all, the thought I secretly cherish is that ancient Europe is at the beginning of the end. My determination being to perish with it, I shall now know to do my duty. Nor is this my model alone. It is that of the Emperor, too. New Europe, on the other hand, has not as yet begun its existence, and between the end and the beginning there will be a chaos. The great conductor exits the stage. 20% Austrian aristocracy, landowners, political strength increased, 28% extra influence, 25% more prestige, 35% production research speed. Clemens von Metternich will be remembered as the worthy opponent of the progressive, an icon of a gallant aristocracy that may yet endure. Is that going to goof up my armies? No. Happily not. Alright, let's get on pause here and get going again. Hopefully this will produce a sufficiency of convoys that I can stop being in a convoy situation. Let's go after their fleet again. This guy is Archduke Maximilian von Habsburg-Lothringen. Interesting. We'll have you escort convoys. Ooh, now we got some more authority. Heck yes. Can we afford a better one? Transportation would be better than tea and something else. Meat would be really good cash flow wise, so let's do that. And then, almost done with our ports. And the enemy is pushing forward now, so our force comparison is increasing. Saxony is out of the... Excuse me? I do not desire a splittage of the fronts. But since this front is looking better, let's advance over here. Anhalt has bailed out of the war. You're advancing, you're advancing. Alright. Let's go ahead and get government construction paused. That's going to really help out our finances. Not as much as might be hoped. but we're almost producing high-powered small arms. On the plus side, Hungary is going way down in liberty desire on account of I've got a huge army power projection now. And that is really bringing them down in liberty desire, and I'm feeling pretty pleased with that. Are we going forward against Frankfurt here? It looks like we are. Yes. Yes, we are. Beautiful. I'm so very pleased. Can you advance, sir? You, sir, with the really good force comparison, can you get going forward, please? Are you unable to advance due to low supply or something? Well, convoys are sorted. So hopefully, advance should begin once again. I don't know why we're advancing over here. Fractional distillation, alright, very good. This has to be some kind of bug. Let's set a new strategic objective of right here and see if we can advance that way. Because this is a lot of our armed forces over here. If I can't, then what I'll do is I'll move this army somewhere else. But I'm hoping I can just get forward. Okay, now they're advancing. All right, all right. So that was maybe just simply poor generalship on my part. Interesting. We are actually losing on this front, so I'll swap over here to defense for now. Just while we get the northern front closed out and sorted away, squared away. All right, there's Nassau, and this army is now on their way back to Austria. Let's put you on the main front, shall we? And we'll keep you on defense for the moment while force comparison improves, and then we'll start going forward. I think our subjects are sabotaging our military strategy by going into advance when I would prefer not to be advancing. But them's the breaks. That's what you get for a more abstract combat system. So, I'm paying a significant amount of interest now. I'm going to need to really keep it down once the war finishes out. I may even need to... Ooh, there's nationalism. Wonderful. Austrian-French fellowship. Excellent. It's given us a little bit more authority to play with. Mecklenburg Strelitz. Can I get a good... I can do transportation if I cut luxury furniture. That's not meaningfully better than just taxing tea. So let's tax tea. Alright. Armies should be good to commence going forward. With a force comparison above 30, we should be very able to advance without difficulties. We'll go on advance on all these fronts. Saxe Weimar, okay. We'll set the strategic objective here. Alright, now we're winning. What about over here? Here we are winning. And here we're winning. Beautiful. Beautiful. Actually, force comparison has improved a lot. So hopefully this will be the conclusion of the war pretty soon here. And then I will have leadership of Germany. And I might be able to form myself a South German Confederation. We'll see. Let's take a quick look at nation formation. Lose in diplomacy. Oh, that's Germany. So the South German Federation. No German reunification. Okay, alright. So this triggers the event German leadership. So that should If I can win this war, I should be able to do that, and that would be fine. And I would be the boss of Germany. And maybe I could form a super Germany. Who knows? I think forming a super Germany is probably pretty unlikely, but at least I could get... This is the South German Federation event, so at least I could get these areas as well. And then be buddies with my friend, France. My friend France, who joined me in being a traditionalist power. They're currently doing an oligarchic parliamentary republic. They're doing anti-strike laws. See, they're doing it. No, wait, no, they're liberalizing. Well, well, them's the breaks, I guess. All right, getting good occupation in Niederschlesien, getting good occupation in Oberschlesien. Secondary front has closed out. Let's put this army over here on the main front. We will set their strategic objective to the Prussian capital as well. We're causing a little bit of devastation. Again, my economy being a lot bigger than Prussia's also really helps this thing. My economy is 23 million. Theirs is... Oh no, theirs is only 20 million. Alright, so maybe truly Prussia is doing better in the overall competition over Germanness than I thought. But happily, the military side we're doing very well. How much am I paying in military goods? Quite a bit. Quite a bit. So when I stop advancing here, I should be able to just kind of chill. But I think I do need to increase taxes, sadly. I know that's going to cause a lot of radicalization, but I've just got to get going here with fixing my finances, because I need to be the crown needs to be solvent, and it needs to be solvent real bad. We're short on ammo. Tuscany supports Italian unification. Okay. Beautiful. And that's the German leadership event. And now we're in a war with... Lippe. I accept this peace deal. I seem to have annexed Transylvania. Curious. German leadership. With Austria now seen as the sole realistic option for German unification, many South German states have opted to join our banner. Hopes are high that this will soon lead to a federation of all the Germanys. From the scattered fiefdoms of the Holy Roman Empire to the chaos of Napoleon's wake, Germany has never been truly united. What the Austrian state has achieved today is a step towards the impossible and the inevitable. The statesmen responsible are national heroes, Alexander Hoff, Albert Bachmann, and Rudolf von Nippenberg. Sorry, I almost said Nihonberg. That's not Japan. Will increase in popularity, or the world will know of our achievement, extra influence, and prestige. I'm going to go for the influence and prestige. Right, and that gets us annexation over all of South Germany. That's not bad at all. And now our armies are no longer mobilized. We've also annexed Transylvania somehow. So that's, you know, a little curious, but I guess can't be helped. Cash flow's doing pretty well, although we're short on bureaucracy. So let's unpause construction and get these government admins built. I need to normalize construction methods in our newly conquered annexed territories. Now, do these have the modifier? They don't. Ooh, excellent. Do we have railways? We do. They're subsidized. Okay, so they'll have market access soon. You have full market access, all right. And what about Rhineland? Interesting. All right, so that's pretty good overall. I just need a little bit more government capacity. Filing cabinets. The use of filing cabinets in the government administration has drastically increased the effectiveness of the state bureaucracy. The future isn't in flying like a bird, nor in roaring along in a train. No, the future is in filing. I love bureaucracy, 5% extra bureaucracy, or store information about our citizens, extra progress towards identification documents. Let's take a look at society. We are not close to identification documents. We'll get the innovation over there. Obviously, this looks like a tiny amount, but it'll be less once we get fully started. Do we get these places automatically incorporated? We do. Oh, yeah. Alright. Let's unpause here. The Dutch East Indies would like to treat with us. Let's give that a second while we finish out this stuff. I just want to get that done. You want me to support your independence from the Netherlands. Who do the Netherlands have treaties with? Only Sweden? You know what? Sure. Okay, so I'm going to finish out this port in Venice. I'm going to finish out this one more government admin. And then I'm going to stop building stuff. Because gosh dang it, do I desperately need to improve my cash flow. That said, this is very good. This is a stonkin' thick Austria. I'm feeling very good about developing a thick Austria. So, I'm clearing 1/3 of 100,000 pounds of debt. Ooh, new mandate. You know what? Let's get that extra authority. For more consumption taxes. Tobacco? Heck yes. Coal would be more... Oh, no, it wouldn't. Alright, cool. Using old numbers for making my calculations wasn't smart, and it shouldn't have did it. Alright, so... Prussia's probably going to try to form a North German Federation, but for the moment, they're not going to be able to. Should I declare them rivals? I don't think so, not yet. Anyway. So we got 13 million, we're losing 33. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a long process. Is there anywhere else we can cut costs? I can drop the military budget back to Midland. That's hardly going to make a big difference, but it will be useful. Now, subventions, that's fine. Subsidies, that's fine. Interest, that's a huge pain and really difficult and problematic, but them's the breaks. Alright, now the matter of Hungary. We have finally got Hungary reducing in liberty desire. Again, I'm not exactly sure why Transylvania was annexed and turned into incorporated states. Is it because these areas are ethnically German? They're certainly not. Zekler. Magyar and Hungarian. Okay. That's not one of our primary cultures, is it? No, our primary culture is South German. Genuinely, I'm not sure. But that's okay. Now, standard of living is a little low for our current taxation situation. Can I get a little bit more? Ooh, legitimacy is quite... There's a lot of pain in the legitimacy department. It seems the landvolk and the armed forces have become significant in the setup of the government, and unfortunately that's going to lock us out of getting above 50. But what if we went to oligarchy? Oligarchy would be supported by everyone. The liberal movement would become less unhappy. The absolutist movement would become a little bit more unhappy. Technocracy would be supported by more, but would also be much more controversial. Let's go to oligarchy. That's going to give us a lot more flexibility in terms of... Ooh. In terms of what we can accomplish. In terms of keeping legitimacy high. Sorry, it's not going to allow us to do new things. It's going to keep our legitimacy high. Now, I got a library opportunity to get trade privileges with Great Britain. So let's get some trade privileges. Mutual trade privileges. Great Britain to build in Austria. Don't want that. Austria to build in Great Britain. Don't want that. So they'd be very pleased with this. Can I maybe get some money in addition? Maybe just like 3,000. Oh, interesting. Would you be willing to pay a lesser amount for trade privileges? Perhaps even a very small amount for trade privileges? Only 60%. I do kind of strongly want to try it. Let's try it. If they say no, then they'll say no, and I can just cut the cash transfer. Ah, they declined. What about... Oh, we need to wait another week. Alright, that's fine. I gotta make my lobbies happy. French Republic's cautious now. Let's improve relations. Shell gun has been unlocked. That's very good. Let's get the artillery foundries running smooth bores right away. Alright. How about just this then? There's trade privileges, and that makes my lobby very happy. Oh, that's the old one. Alright, so where's my lobby? So the Austrian-British Fellowship is now happy. That's made my Austrian aristocracy very pleased. My landfolk are big mad. Dye works accidents. Several workers died today at the Württemberg Dye Works when an industrial-sized tub of hot dye accidentally spilled out over the workshop floor and the unsuspecting workers. Locals are upset about the incident, claiming that poor safety regulations in a hot and dangerous workplace are to blame for the accident, and are urging the government to take action. As rescue workers left the scene, several workshop employees were left dying. We shall all die sooner or later. Extra mortality of laborers employed in manufacturing, and extra radicalization among laborers in Württemberg, or they shall have died in vain. Same mortality increase, no radicals, but stronger trade unions. I'm gonna go with the second one. I don't even have labor movement unlocked, so the trade unions are insignificant at present. Political migration. The rich and unstable political environment in Austria has proven attractive to political exiles and stateless people who have begun to congregate in the coffee houses of Vienna. Oh, Vienna, you flawed yet fiery jewel, where else could one see 3 different demonstrations within a 5 minutes walk? They're welcome to join the Sea of Voices, extra prestige, extra radicals from political movements. Heinrich Ermart becomes employed in Austria, or these people make a mockery of Austria, reduced prestige, reduced radicals from political movements. Who is this man, Ermart? He's a Republican aligned with the industrialists. Well, I guess he can show up. But I reserve the right to send him immediately back. Alright, let's take a look at taxation capacity. I'm still a little short of taxation capacity in Bohemia. So let's build up 3 levels of taxation capacity there. And that means, unfortunately, I am going to have to spend some money building those, but it's going to be worth it. Rightful borders. The fervently nationalistic rhetoric of the armed forces has turned its rhetoric towards... The fervently nationalistic armed forces have turned their rhetoric towards the French Republic and its province of Alsace-Lorraine. They have begun lobbying for hostile action against the French Republic to realize their territorial ambitions. Okay, curious. It is indisputable that Alsace-Lorraine possesses a distinctly Austrian character. In fact, this region belonged to several of the precursor states of whom we embody the legacy. Firstly, the officer sat politely as the man at the front of the lecture hall presented his dissertation. When he held up an ancient coin he claimed that had been found beneath Strasbourg, the audience exploded into cheers. He clapped along, but it was solely a mechanical gesture. His mind had already departed to the age of swords and sails. To retake Alsace-Lorraine was a matter of the present, of gunsmoke and cannon shot. All else could be argued over afterwards. Alsace-Lorraine is rightfully Austrian. A new anti-country lobby is created targeting the French Republic. Deteriorates relations with France by 5. Or we must firmly reject this saber-rattling. Weaker, but angrier armed forces. And the new anti-country lobby is created targeting the French Republic. Gosh dang it. Well, I don't want to make the armed forces weaker, so I am going to do the first one. We have an anti-French league. No thank you, thank you. I don't wish you to build inside me. So, Combined Arms Syndicate of Austria, let's talk about tariffs. I no longer need these import subventions for ammunition. I no longer need these import subventions for artillery. We'll close out both of those. Alright, now with our government administration completed, I can pause construction once again, and Bohemia should quickly develop the taxation capacity she needs, which she has done. So that's going to make our cash flow a little bit better. Again, we're experiencing rising radicalism here, but it's not going to be too bad if I can keep a hold on things. As we enact oligarchy, that's going to make our government slightly more legitimate by increasing our government size allowance, if we can make this happen, which shouldn't be too difficult. We've got a very high advance chance. There's nobody who's going to be unhappy about it. Power block is still very highly cohesive. And of course, we've got a lot of pops living below the desired standard of living, but what else is new? I'm noticing paper is expensive in our customs union, so let's look into solving that. We've got... Do we have a better method? We don't. How long until we got it? Working on triage right now. Chemical bleaching is down here. It's at the end of crystal glass, which is spreading to us. So I think it's going to be better to build a few more paper mills. Let's build a couple in Württemberg and a couple more in Austria. And once again, we'll throw those at the top of the queue because we need to get them done fast. Grassroots support for law. The political wills and the desires of the lower classes will always remain an opaque matter. For whatever reason, support for oligarchy has spread like wildfire across Austria, spurred on by charismatic speakers and lively debates in small-time social clubs. They're backing what now? Well, who are we to complain? While their support was never a prerequisite for success, it sure doesn't hurt to have it either. Public enthusiasm expedites reform, stronger Catholic Church, stronger absolutist movement forever. Interesting. Or uses common ground to calm the masses. 20% of lower sternum pops in Tyrol become more loyal. Tyrol is a reasonably it's not that populous a state. You know, I'm going to go with a stronger absolutist movement. We're doing big absolutism, and that's going to help us. See, it's already increased enactment success chance by 2 percentage points. I'm so good at stuff. All right, let's get this unpaused. Oh boy, these paper mills are going to take their sweet time getting built, I must say. Let's take this. No. I'm going to be sensible. This is going to cost me money short term, but it's going to be a lot more profitable long term, and it's going to help me get back in the black, which is very important to me. Relations with France are improving. I don't desire to seize Alsace-Lorraine. I would love to steal the rest of Rhineland. So knowing that I can take Prussia in a fight is valuable to me. Once I finish triage, if I snag Power the Person Screw Frigate, I can grab breech-loading artillery, and that'll make me very happy. That'll keep me ahead on the military stuff. After that, I think I can breathe a bit and get the rest of the production tax, the tier 2s in production. And then I would like steel railway cars and rotary valve engine. That's gonna, or no, I don't need rotary valve engine. I need dynamite is what I need. In fact, I think I need dynamite more than steel railway cars. And that's going to be very good. Maybe I'll snag reinforced concrete. I'm not sure. This is going to take us to oligarchy. Oligarchy is going to take a long time. But it's going to be worth it. Armed Forces Veteran Consultation deactivated? No! Gosh dang it. What if I paid you more? Oh, I need to get above 5. Oh, I beefed it. I should have been smarter about that. That's okay. East Galicia is also a little bit short on cash flow. And most of it's due to a shortage of taxation capacity, so I know that I'm being really kind of unreasonable about this, but I'm just... Ooh, hydraulic cranes. Bulk trading. That's very good. That increases my trade capacity, and that's wonderful. Trade centers, trade centers, trade centers, trade centers, trade centers. Here we go. Now, let's do secular admin, secular academia. Universities want philosophy departments. Oh, you know what? I didn't reset production methods in theater because I didn't realize I'd taken them until I'd already done that. Alright, so from here, a few more weeks of building up paper mills, and then we should be completely good to go to pause government construction once again. So, with government construction paused, what I need to see is where we are in terms of the investment pool. The investment pool is very, very large. Stonk and thick, it might even be called. And I think we can go ahead and build up a few more construction sectors, particularly Bohemia and Austria. Law advancement. Wonderful. I'm going to throw those in at the top. We'll get them finished out pretty quickly. And I think at that point, when we pause, the government, the investment pool will be very able to use all that cash flow to use all that construction capacity to. So, oh, we're not in the top production rank for small arms anymore. Perhaps if I subvene the export of small arms, that will help us to become a high-powered arms producer. Which, of course, we do want. You're talking about your growing frustration. I'm working on oligarchy over here, and no one wants to be oligarching. I'm trying to get my cash flow and my I got a huge pile of government debt. Alright. Pause. Growing frustration. Unhappy members of the intelligentsia are frustrated. The state refuses to give them access to any organs of government and will not humor them at all. Hugo von Spetty, in particular, has begun escalating his anti-government rhetoric with some surprising ideological thoughts baked in. He's ruthless and literary. A rare combination. This government is unmatched in the extent of its perjuries. Its determination to extinguish the voice of the people has been accompanied by a succession of criminal acts comprising robbery, destruction of property, murder, maiming, and far too many more to name. Humanity will shudder when reading this disgraceful page of history. It's been forever since the government first began to engage in Robert. But Mr. von Spetty is here to call them out. The practice of Robert will not become commonplace in Austria. Refuse to bend to these loudmouths. 33 equal chances, 1/3 chance each he becomes radical. Intelligentsia gets saltier, or all opposition interest groups become salty, or let them petition the government at least. Intelligentsia becomes stronger and happier. One of two options. 50-50 chance opposition interest groups become happier. 50-50 chance government interest groups become unhappy. I'm going to do the second one. It seems like the right call. Government construction is now paused once again. Cash flow is looking pretty rock solid. Let's take a quick look at the investment pool. Investment pool is draining, but at a very sustainable rate overall. So I'm feeling good about that. In fact... Oh my. Is Poland not yet lost? Event in Österreichisch Schlesien. Large protests have erupted throughout the Polish communities in Austria, advocating for Polish statehood. Advisors believe the unrest may become connected to the actions of government-affiliated groups in Krakow. Peoples of a torn land invariably pine for whatever glories and identities they once held, such as the wisdom of empires of old. Subjects of conquest kept their lands and their customs, but for a tribute and an agreement to hold new laws. The consequences of stripping a people of their identity is also, invariably, catastrophe. Krakow must answer for this. 5% of Polish pops in Österreich-Schlesien become more radical. Ditto for Ostgalician and West Galician. By establishing either secret police or national guard, we may lessen the impact of such events in the future. However, only the elimination of Krakow as a self-governing entity can truly eliminate this issue once and for all. Austrian relations toward Krakow deteriorates by 20, or infiltrate and break up the groups. Because we've got secret police active, 75% chance of 2% of Polish pops in all three of those states become more radical. 25% chance of 5% become more radical instead. I'm going to pick the second one. So, I need to annex Krakow, do I? If I hit this button, 75% chance they say yes and no one will stop me. But, obviously that will make all my other subjects a little antsy. So I need to be careful doing that. I'm going to let Hungary get a little bit further down in Liberty Desire before I do that. And am I making a lot of high-powered small arms? I am. Perfect. So if I can hold this for another 8 months, I can become... I can start producing the prestige small arms, which would be really, really good for my country. And again, annexing the crownlands is kind of a much bigger long-term goal. I think that will also... I think that should annex Krakow as well. I'm hoping it will. If it does, I'll be very pleased. What is Krakow to me? Krakow is a puppet. Well, here's hoping it works. Here's hoping I can do what I want to do. And be happy with what I have. And by be happy with what I have, I mean eat all that territory. What's my prestige looking like now? Let me see. We're closing in on 900, so we're closing in on where Great Britain is. And I'm feeling pretty good about that. That would be pretty rock solid. Which means my gaze has fallen inevitably on Switzerland. If I went after Switzerland, France would try to fight me on that. That's okay. Maybe seize Alsace-Lorraine. France is currently in a war, but with whom? Mascara in Spain. That doesn't seem sufficient to distract them. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play it safe and chill. I've got an extremely large amount of government debt, and I'm paying a ton in interest, which I'm not really reducing at a rate that I'm happy with. Building up those paper mills didn't really help me in the way in which I was hoping. Let's, I don't necessarily need to subsidize these buildings, although, perhaps I do. Let's go ahead and do some privatization. I am making a modest amount from government dividends, but privatizing is good business. Ooh, excellent. We're at 59% for oligarchy. This should raise a lot of capital for the government right away by simply pulling it out of the investment pool, but it will also make the investment pool more efficient We'll do the explosives factories, we'll do the steel mills, we'll do the motor industries. We'll even do the civilian shipyards. Oh, it's a subsidization thing. All right. Sorry, I thought... no, this is privatization. Let's leave them alone. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Rye farms will privatize. Wheat farms will privatize. Livestock ranches will privatize. Would you be better using barbed wire? Yeah, by a little. We'll privatize the mines, absolutely. We'll keep the gold mines for our own. But yeah, we'll just privatize all this stuff. Oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't realize I had silk in Transylvania. That's based. Alright, so... hopefully that should be helping chip away at my, my government debt here, because I don't love government debt. Alright, beautiful. So there's triage unlocked. Let's enable that for all of our armies. Let's also... do I want to enable rail transport? I don't think I need to. I think my total land area is small enough that I can rely on the march without needing to do that. Now, I've got a reasonable supply of tobacco in the customs union, but am I producing it at home? I'm not. So I can't rely on that for... I can't rely on that for morale. What about opium? Am I producing opium at all? Doesn't seem to be so. Hardwood seems quite expensive. So, let's go ahead and swap some of our logging camps. We're producing hardwood. That's curious. Wood is also expensive. Oh, okay, I just need more wood total. Well, them's the breaks, I suppose. Let's hope the private sector can handle it. We got a lot of demand around here. We got a lot of demand. Maybe I will close out these munitions plants and artillery foundries for the time being, and perhaps the private sector will handle them. Now, investment pool is still going down. They're not buying all of these government industries. Although I guess they're maybe buying some. My credit taken is going down. Come on, give me oligarchy. You know you want to give me oligarchy. Peasants mad. Gosh dang. Is it creating obstinance? Please tell me it's not creating obstinance. It's maybe creating... it's not creating obstinance. Alright, nice. Württemberg is a little bit low on taxation capacity. So we'll throw one more Hoosie-Majig in there. And by Hoosie-Majig, I mean level of government admin. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Rudolf von Bissingen-Nippenberg, leader of the Austrian aristocracy, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of oligarchy. Making an appearance before the public in Vienna's main square, Rudolf von Bissingen-Nippenberg's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across Austria, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. It should ease the path to reform greatly, 15% more enactment success chance. Performances like this reflect well on von Bissingen-Nippenberg and his cause. 10% enactment chance, but he becomes more popular, and the Austrian aristocracy becomes stronger. I'm just going to do the first one. All the enactment chance in the world is better than stronger aristocrats, even though the aristocrats are the basis of my government. Although I suppose they're not going to be the basis of the government for that much longer, because the Kleinbürger, the petite bourgeoisie, are now the interest group of my Kaiser, my emperor, my king, my huge man. By the way, this fella, Franz-Joseph, holds power for so long in history in OTL that he's the guy running the show when World War I begins. And I believe... Oh, they need to be prosperous. Are they not sufficiently prosperous? They're not. Ooh, glassworks. Crystal glass. Excellent. I am going to need to subsidize the arms industry. Don't think I won't. I'll do it. That's going to make you profitable, right? That's what profit is? Oh, euros? Yeah, there you go. Now they're going up in profit. All right, come on. Let's make high-powered small arms happen. Very modest amount. I'm paying a lot in subventions. What am I? Yeah, it's mostly small arms. Well, them's the breaks, I suppose. It's worth it. It's worth it to get prestige goods into production. No, stop not being prosperous. Gosh dang it. Producing so many small arms. No. All right. What if we subvene the export of artillery as well? This is not what you call sensible economic policy, generally speaking. Ah, Catholic Church mad. They're not giving me extra authority anymore. How dare? Liberal movement's getting a little active. Do I still have... I still have local police force. I would love to have less local police. I would love to have a dedicated police force. I would love it if my police force cared about their jobs. Middle manager's deactivated. Oh, that's not great. Everyone's getting big mad. It's the high taxation. It sucks. Ooh, new mandate. Wonderful. Can I do something useful? I need to have more members. That's not ideal. Anything I can do to help my cash flow? Doesn't seem like it. Alright, let's go for defensive cooperation. Least compatible... Tuscany. Monarchy with wealth voting. Well... Once I'm into oligarchy, I can make them oligarchic too, and that'll be nice. I unfortunately still need to keep the taxes high, because I've got a lot of... I've got a lot of... Ooh, realism unlocked. Excellent. Because I've got a lot of debt, and I need to bash away at that debt. So, I was looking into glassworks. We have some areas using forest glass, which is quite curious. Laws in consideration. Alright, very good. So, talk to me about... Okay. Porcelain is alright. Glass... Not a luxury good. Interesting. Industrial good? This is also okay. So why are you guys unprofitable? Let's... You adjust. Okay, alright. And we got reasonable export subventions for you, so you should be reasonably profitable. But let's... Okay, we've given it a couple of weeks. Let's look at the supply again. We are exporting some glass. Okay. And then... Porcelain... Yeah, we're exporting a good amount of porcelain. Weird. Weird. Wonder if it's a taxation capacity issue. But there's not much I can do about that at present. Oh man, Nunfolk are really unhappy. Why are you so upset? It's all the secret police and serfdom. Dang. John Dolphus. I feel like I know that guy. Who's this guy? He's an Orleanist. A famous Orleanist. From history. From those years before the current ones. From history. Government's still unacceptable. But, you know, we're working on that. Is there anywhere I can cut some taxation capacity to save myself some money? Let's take a quick run at... Oh, right. I can go to realist art. And I can get bourgeois patronage. So... Patronize realist art completed. That's... Oh. It got away from me. Alright, we'll do that in a second. The Arts Academy of Württemberg has become a major center of the realist movement, producing some of the finest works of our generation. Realism depicts the world as it is, warts and all, rather than the world as we might like it to be. It seeks not only to be true to how objects appear to the eye, but also to be true to the everyday experiences of ordinary people. Finally, art we can all relate to, extra Arts Academy building throughput. Can we capture reality even more perfectly, extra progress towards camera, or the world is grim and mundane, stronger capitalists. I'm gonna go with the actually, no. I'm not trying to liberalize at all. So we'll go for the camera progress instead. Right. So we're talking about government admins. Got a lot of taxation capacity in Montenegro. I got quite a bit in Austria that I could get rid of. Schlesien I could cut. I've only got one level, but I could cut it. Yeah, and then Austria I can cut a couple of levels. So let's do it. Schlesien. Boink. And Austria will cut a couple of levels. And that still puts us at a comfortable amount of taxation capacity. It's not ideal. I don't love doing that, but it's necessary for all the stuff I got going on. I do have the capacity to increase law enforcement, but I don't want to do... Well, the Austrian aristocracy is going to go down in strength naturally over time, so I guess it's not that big of a deal to increase... to give them a little bit more strength in exchange for reduced political movement activism and extra authority. So let's do it. And I've got plenty of bureaucratic capacity to handle it. The police one, I think, gives us... The police power block tenant also gives us, increased institution change speed and reduced bureaucratic costs. So it's really quite modest. Belgium has formed the Steadfast Union and is in the midst of a civil war. Well, gosh dang. The Royalist revolt would certainly like our help. What would they be willing to give us? Only an obligation. I don't desire to be in a war right now. I think I might be able to safely live with dropping taxation back to Midland. Would that be worth it? No, I need to keep chipping away at my national debt. Alright, a bunch of states are siding with Belgium now, so that's fine. I mean, I will continue to be chipping away at my national debt, just not as fast as I currently am. Come on, get me to adoption. Come on, get me to adoption. You can do it, oligarchy. You can spread oligarchy to all the other states. Ooh, Great Britain wants a treaty. You want to invest in me, you want to let me invest in you, and you want an alliance. Great Britain, I would be private. Excellent. So what this means is the next time we fight the Prussians, the British will not be able to aid them, which will make me very, very happy. British are on the side of Belgium, which is just fine with me. Still really in a bit of a standard of living crisis due to the high taxation, which I don't love to be in as a whole situation. But I am still paying a lot of interest and paying a lot of subventions. I think I need to drop back my subventions to small arms. I'm already subsidizing the the industries. I don't need to pay quite so much. I think perhaps I'll do the same for artillery. The combined arms conglomerate is growing more prosperous. What do they need to be? Do they need to be at 95? Where are they? Ah, but that's costing them prosperity. Gosh dang. I've got to do it. I've got to... Oh, I can't change it. Urgh. I'm a dope. I'm so stupid. Well, hopefully... We are really moving fast at busting up our credit now, so hopefully we'll be in a solid state like the drive very soon. French Republic looking more and more likely to fight me over Switzerland, which I don't love. They're quite notorious, though, so maybe that will help other people get in on the war against them. Give me 22 legitimacy for going to oligarchy, and maybe more if I boot the Catholic Church out of the government. So here's hoping. Investment pool is draining, but that's only by a moderate amount. We're paying less than 7K in interest now. Come on, oligarchy. Hell yeah. Alright, so now... we're still in the most legitimate government we can currently be in, but it's a much more legitimate government now. We're losing loyalists every month, I guess because of high income taxes. Which is what it is. I could really improve my finances by going to per capita taxation, so let's do it. And there's power of the purse. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and activate that in our naval methods. That'll be nice. It's not going to affect things a huge amount right now. Alright, I think I'm feeling comfortable enough to drop taxes back to Midland. That puts me at a very good financial spot. And it makes my standard of living bearable. The October Convention. Oh my gosh, the Belgian Loyalist Revolt won. Well, you know what, Belgium? Let's be better friends. You've got a king, and I like that. So, Britain is going after Dainan, interestingly. Let's take a quick look at our power block. Two Sicilies is doing monarchy and autocracy. So, hey buddy. Hey buddy, why don't you do an oligarchy? Excellent. Who else? Tuscany, you're on wealth voting. Sardinia and Piedmont, are you in my power block? No. Who else is in my power block? It's these Medina. Liberalize. Just a little. Parma. Go to oligarchy, please. Obstructionism in the Austrian aristocracy? How could this possibly be the case? Obstructionism. How could they? The Ferdinand Mathi's rhetoric has drawn negative attention to the representatives of the Austrian aristocracy, who he has condemned for obstructing the passage of per capita taxation. The Austrian aristocracy, a conglomeration of rats, sitting in their gilded seats and claiming to serve the interests of the people, and yet the people have spoken, and it is the demand of the very people that they cease and desist. Pressure them into cooperating for now, they become a little bit unhappy, but increase in success chance, or we will not harm our relationship over one law. More active peasant movement. But, Austrian aristocracy happier. So I am going to lose my Wiener Waltzer prestige bonus if I do the first one, but I think I'm going to do it. I need the cash flow. Kind of desperately, in fact. Do I need the cash flow? No, well, not desperately, but it'll allow me to maintain a much larger military, which will be critical in terms of my long-term success. Hungary is going down in Liberty Desire at a very healthy clip now, and that means that I'll be able to integrate the crownlands very soon. And then it will simply be a matter of increasing the acceptance of Hungarian pops in the territory, which hopefully shouldn't be too extreme, too difficult. Non-folk are much happier now that they're headed up by a radical. If I mouse over it, this makes the thing go absolutely buck wild. Okay, locked in. All right. Never mind. Let's see. Amount of loyalists is not going up, nor radicals going down much at present. But I guess people are a lot happier with land-based tax, with per capita taxation than land-based. And this will allow my economy to continue to grow in kind of a healthy way. Because land-based taxation really puts a lot of taxation on your farmers, on your subsistence farmers, and that's just nobody likes that. No one's happy with that. Industrial barriers. Factories in Bremen have been reported to be placing Ashkenazi people into roles with incredibly poor working conditions, owing to their status as second-class citizens in Austria. I know, us businessmen have a reputation for only caring about the bottom line, and that may be true for some, but the way I see it, any venture must be built on a strong foundation of values. The Ashkenazi don't share those values. How could they? They're our values. This unequal treatment cannot stand. Weaker and unhappy Kleinbürger. Extracultural majority movement pop attraction for 5 years, or they're lucky to be given any job at all. -2 standard of living for Ashkenazi. 2% of Ashkenazi pops in Austria become more radical. 5% in Bremen specifically, and reduced cultural minority movement pop attraction. I'm going to do the first one. I think I'm all right with the Kleinberger going down in strength and being a little bit unhappy. They're still... Oh, they have a special one. They have a special one. Look at this. They got a special ability. Biedermanner. Orderly, respectable, and deeply afraid of disorder, the Biederman pays his taxes, minds his shop, and avoids politics, even when the world is burning just outside his window. Reduce radicals from political movements. Reduce minimum expected standard of living for the middle strata. That's interesting. Over a drink. In an obscure meeting, Ferdinand Matti and a proxy of the intelligentsia rambled at length about the positives of per capita taxation. One was cognizant enough to take minutes. Well, that's the problem with the new law. If you don't remove those other supporting laws, someone can exploit those loopholes and escape its reach. Unless you count the 2 laws about evasion without plausible doubt, then you have a crafty seal that catches those rogue actors. Commend them for their good work. Stronger and happier way stronger intelligentsia and 5% enactment chance. Our matters of governments are for the government, not dens of sin. Intelligentsia might get much, much happier and stronger. 70% chance. 25% chance they get weaker and angrier. 5% chance Ferdinand Matti is exiled. 5% increased enactment chance regardless. Interesting. I'm going to gamble on the second one. And I made them happier and stronger. Wonderful. So that's good. That's very good. We've almost kicked our interest completely. I'm going to unpause government construction, and let's start building out a bunch of stuff. Obviously, this is costing us a pile of cash, but once we finish these universities, this will be going very, very well. Why are we experiencing such difficult construction in Tyrol? It's because of the Alps. Mountains, Gandalf. Let's build one more government capacity. Actually, I don't need this government capacity anymore. Cool. Nice. I did it. Alright, well, getting these universities running will be very, very good. I'm producing 104 innovation. I really need to be producing more because my literacy has been going up steadily over the past few years, and that's actually increased my total amount of available literacy. So let's go ahead and queue in another few few levels of universities. I need to have at least a few in all of my territories. Baden and Württemberg are doing really well in terms of education. South Tyrol, Lombardy, Krain, Kustenland. Venice is a little bit low on market access. Can I fix that? There's already a railway under construction by the private sector. Alright, beautiful. Excellent. I needn't do anything. Some of these areas are going to take quite a while to get built, but that's okay. Hey! Law progressed to consideration. Wonderful. Okay, so I beefed that thing earlier. I need to put my my heavy subvention back on small arms, and hopefully that's going to make the my combined arms conglomerate of Austria more profitable. What if I simply subsidize all my steel mills? I would end up producing a ton of steel. What if instead I subvene the export of steel? I'm already subvening the export of steel significantly. What's the price of steel on the world market? Really, only Britain is importing it. Interesting. Steel remains something of a difficult situation. Students rallied to the Polish national movement. A group of students attending the university in Rhineland have arranged a demonstration in support of the Polish national movement. The displays inspired other students to join the cause. The lecture hall was barren. There were always one or two students missing for illnesses, travel, or family occasions, but nothing of this scale. There were 3 or 4 students per row, each thrown into sharp contrast by the empty seats to their sides. It was material for a lecture of its own, he thought. Like a heap of sand whose grains had blown away one after another until its form suddenly changed, so followed what had once been a class. The youth will lead Austria into the future. Stronger Polish national movement, increased universal pop strength, and reduced university throughput in Rhineland. Or they ought to focus on their studies. No increase the strength of the Polish national movement. Other modifiers are halved, but 5% of academics pops become more radical. I'm going to pick the second one. I don't want a strong Polish national movement, please and thank you. I want to annex my crownlands. And it's time to do that. Shabamzo. Alright. Now, I believe all these areas need to be incorporated, so let's incorporate them. Now I'm short on authority, so let's cut a consumption tax. Obviously, this is going to take some time and pose a significant cost financially to get all of these territories incorporated and up to speed, but once we do, the profits from the government's perspective are going to be huge. Let's go over here to state actions and just use the incorporated states button. Alright, we're good with the incorporated states button. Let's reset production methods in all these areas. The minor interests. Regardless of the governing caucus's stance, the fiercest debates on per capita taxation come from these two, the landvolk and the populists, started by Ferdinand Matty's movement. So he's aligned with the intelligentsia, he's a land reformer. The end is nowhere in sight. Once in a blue moon, the government sees a minor issue to appease an ally or placate an enemy. Invariably, it crosses someone else's line. Some might call enemy my enemy and expect an alliance of convenience. Others often rightly expect a velveteen fist. Let them bicker. 1/3 chance each of 2% of lower strata pops in the whole country becoming more radical. Intelligentsia become angry and the landfolk become stronger. Or intelligentsia becomes stronger and the landfolk become angry. Take advantage of the populist pressure. Metzi becomes more popular. Stronger peasant movement. Landfolk become weaker and unhappy. Or, back to the Landfolk. Landfolk become stronger and happier. Reduced peasant movement political activism, and Metzi becomes less popular. I'm going to do the third one. And then I think I'm gonna set our logging camps to all produce hardwood, and we'll see what that does to the wood situation in the country. Okay, so that's made softwood extremely expensive, and hardwood is now very, very cheap. All right, so from here, we're going to selectively dial back a few of them. We'll grab our largest ones and move them to prioritizing softwood. Well, maybe not our largest. Maybe the ones in the core. And we'll see what that does. So what does that do to the price of hardwood? I've spiked the price of hardwood above the price of softwood, but the price of softwood is still really high, and we're ultimately going to need a lot more softwood, so I'm feeling pretty okay with where we currently are. Cash flow looks pretty rough right now. Why is cash flow so bad? Because I'm using a hugely disproportionate amount of the construction capacity? Maybe so. But I think I'm actually gonna tank it for now, because our taxation situation is gonna improve, and we're gonna finish our big construction blitz as we get going here. Coffee talk. Per-capita taxation was on everyone's lips in every coffee house. Afterwards, Ferdinand Mati was ready to cross the intelligentsia to help pass the law. Wise counsel advises against conflating the voice of the people with the voice of God. Wiser counsel calls the voice of the people mad. The wisest counsel understands that genius and madness are two sides of the same coin. It's a matter of knowing when to listen. Welcome this change of heart. 50% chance Mati becomes more popular. 45% chance the Austrian aristocracy become happier and stronger. 5% chance he's exiled, and we get 5% extra enactment chance. Or shield him from any of the intelligentsia's blowback. Extra enactment chance. Aristocracy stronger, intelligentsia weaker. I'm just going to go with the first one. We're going to see what happens. Well, I didn't get stronger aristocracy, that's for sure. And he didn't get exiled. So it was that first one, whatever it was. I seem to have beefed it with my my small arms situation. I think when I finish out the construction queue, I'm going to actually, if I go to standardized filing system in Austria, that's the last one. Then I can maybe reduce the size of the government admin here. Let me see, taxation capacity, I'm actually quite far over. So if I drop back a few, save myself a little bit of cash. Yeah, there we go. Now I've still got plenty of taxation capacity there. Wonderful. Investment pool is still decreasing in size. How am I doing with GDP ownership? Okay, I'm now developing quite a bit of GDP ownership from Great Britain. It's probably due to my subsidization policy and my subventions. Death and taxes. Alexander von Back has suddenly died while drafting legislation for the per-capita taxation law. A human being is dead. The body is barely cold, and you speak of passing legislation. Can you not put politics aside so that we can mourn in peace? Let us mourn the loss of a great leader. Increased enactment time, increased enactment success chance. Or we should honor his dying wish. Reduced enactment time, reduced enactment success chance. He dies either way. I'm going to go with the first one. I'm always going to go with an accurate success chance. Who is leading the Kleinburger now? It's Franz-Joseph, a reformer. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, land-based taxation will surely help us. I like having a stunk and thick Austria. Obviously, it's going to take a long time for me to get control of these areas, but they don't have the recently annexed debuff, so it's just going to be the incorporation period that's going to take forever, and then they'll all be good to go. And I'll be very pleased. Alright, cash flow is doing a lot better. God, these subventions are kicking my ass here. Ugh. Should never have let Britain build on me. That was dumb. I'm going to need to nationalize all that industry. They're pulling all this cash out of my investment pool. The British, they're eating my lunch, gosh darn it. Oh, I can support more declared interests. Well, don't mind if I do. Let's see. One more. Let's declare it in North Africa. Keep an eye on things over there. That'll be nice. Yeah, I don't know if this small arms thing is going to really help. Although they are going up in prosperity now. If they continue to increase... Every time I look, it's variable. It's variable. Alright. We're going to get silly, and we're going to grab these steel mills, and we're going to subsidize them. And that is going to make the syndicate profitable, right? You're going to be profitable now, right? Don't you lose prosperity now. I paid so much in subsidies. Oh, God. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. It's too extreme and stupid. I've got to finish building and start chipping away at my interest. I'm paying 10k interest again. Gosh dang it. I used my whole buffer on universities. Is paper really expensive? Paper is really expensive. That's rough. Do I need to build more paper mills? I think I do. I think I simply must. What if I reduce the government wages? It's not going to matter. Urgh. This is quite a rough financial situation. Again, all these places are going to eventually be producing a lot of cash flow for me, but right now, there's not as much as I should like. We are at level 3 law enforcement finally. And again, things will be better once we get per capita taxation. Well, I guess that could be pretty soon at this point. I would be delighted if it was soon. Because again, as you know, those of you who have been here a long time, I don't love being in debt. Keep going up. Keep going up, guy. If you can get to 100 and stay there, it'll be happy times. They can't. All right, I'm gonna drop back this export subvention. I think that's simply a foolish investment on my part. I'm gonna do the same thing for artillery. I think simply not subventing the export of artillery at all is going to be preferable. Alright, the philosophy department. We've secured funding for philosophy departments in all of our institutions of higher learning. The University of Bern has chosen to focus this funding on advancing Hegelian dialectics. Now that we're more or less seated, we can begin. Everything you do at this institution begins and ends with the portmanteau philo, meaning love of, and sophia, meaning wisdom. Philahydry. Love of water. The love of learning and thought is what philosophy is. Underpinning philosophy is the outlook by which we perceive life, the world, everything in essence. We can't necessarily teach you how to do a specific task here. What we can teach you is how to learn and how to think about learning on your own. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, 25% university building throughput, or investigate dialectical materialism, extra progress on socialism. I'm just going to get the university building throughput. It's going to give me more progress on breech-loading artillery. Confusion and delay, a debate event. Supporters of per-capita taxation among the industrialists, headed by Heinrich Ermacht, have questioned the government publicly on the amount of time that is required in order for the law to pass. The government is, at this time, carrying out an atrocity through cold bureaucracy. It favors procedure over lives, paperwork over hunger. How many people need to suffer for the sake of the feelings of some government functionaries who have never felt a speck of hunger in their lives? Documents can wait, ladies and gentlemen, but the people's suffering cannot. The bill will be passed when the process is complete. Much stronger and angrier peasant movement. 10% increased authority. Or documents can wait, the people cannot. Slightly stronger peasant movement. Reduced enactment time. A slightly more active peasant movement. Reduced enactment time, reduced bureaucracy. I gotta go with the second one. Whew! I'm still doing okay for bureaucracy. Where am I short on taxation capacity? I'm a little short in Transdanubia, but more importantly, Venice. So let's build up a little bit there. And we'll do one level in Transdanubia. Just get those built quickly. That's going to be very good. And there is breech loading artillery. So let's hit the upgrade all units button. Does this enable a new production method for artillery foundries? It surely does. Wonderful. That's good. If it isn't, nobody correct me. And there's canneries. Beautiful. So we can start canning fish or we can start canning meat. I'm going to start canning fish. And in the meantime, we'll get our fishing wharves using trawlers as well to produce some additional fish. And that'll be really nice. Now, obviously, this is costing us a lot more because we're spending a lot more on artillery, but we're working on per capita taxation, but that's surely going to solve the problem. Let's hope. Let's really, really hope. Okay, alright, we're getting a little bit more capacity now. This cash flow situation is pretty rough. I am still subsidizing. Alright, I think I'm going to stop subsidizing my artillery foundries. Well, maybe not. Enforce investment rights if we back them against the Ottoman Empire? No. Quiet, you. Alright. No one else is going to step in here. Not even the Russians, which is interesting. What if I snag Serbia? Be a little bit of infamy. But I'm really trying to deal with my cash flow here. I'm going to let that be for now. Alright, we're at 60%. Because this number really making me unhappy. I'm paying a ton for paper and a ton for government admins, and it hurts. It hurts real bad. Some of these areas I don't actually need government admin. Well, I can cut at least a little bit. That was dumb. That was dumb because I need the frickin' bureaucracy. Oh, I'm just costing myself money for no reason. Oh, like a hero. Just as Jesus Christ intended. Alright, well, I've been smarter. Maybe I actually need to cut some institutions. Belgium, you want me to give you grain. Okay. Are you willing to pay for it? Are you willing to let me invest in you? Cool. Alright, here's hoping that this doesn't goof me up too bad. It's really not that much. Alright, we're no longer constructing. Government sector is continuing to hire. Russia sides with Wallachia. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. They're just not hiring. Gosh darn it. Okay, I'm going to have to build up the one in Vertibird. And there's per capita taxation. Lovely. All right. So, from here... And hopefully the one in Württemberg will, if we build up the government bureaucracy in Württemberg, that'll get this hiring, and that'll just clear out that shortage, and then we'll all be happy. And there's modern sewerage, that's also good. And we have a new mandate available. Beautiful. Defensive cooperation 3, heck yes. So, how cohesive is my power block at the moment? It's doing pretty well. Oh, you know what? It's time to annex Krakow. Krakow is my only subject at this point, right? Yes. 75% chance that they say yes. No one stops me if they don't. Let's do it. And they said yes. Beautiful. And that deals with the Krakow situation as well. So I am feeling pretty good. Let me see. How long have we been going in this episode? We're going just over 2 hours. Let's go to the end of the year. End of 57. We've been doing pretty well. We've been making very good progress. Our cash flow is, well, it could be worse, friends. But, you know, we've built ourselves up a rock-solid military at this point. Nah, I don't think we can take the French and the... Well, the Russians would prefer to side with us. The French would prefer to side with the Germans. Really weird. Quite curious. Or with the Prussians. We're the Germans. They're the Prussians. Now, what about... Ooh. Actually, a Swiss protectorate now. It's interesting. Couple of South German states potentially siding with them, but I think a Swiss protectorate would be quite nice. The French would not stand by them. Let's do it. I can take a lot of South German states in a fight. I'm going to mobilize one army right now because I only think I need one. The engines of progress. The manufacture of steam engines has become a profitable industry in null_state, thanks to our sound investment in the locomotive technology. These engines are already being employed across new Austrian railway lines. All aboard for Vienna, courtesy of the good folks at the hub_name_city steam locomotive company. Getting out of Prague has never been easier. The dining cart is restricted to first-class passengers only. Stowaways will be prosecuted. All aboard. Extra railway building throughput in the entire country. More engines, more locomotives, no effect. We're on track for innovation. Extra progress for steel railway cars. I will take the extra progress for steel railway cars, please. That's very good, because I have that on my docket. And now we're working on mechanized workshops. All right. Beautiful. This number, I'm very pleased about. This number, I'm pretty pleased about. 12 unspent innovation. We are spending a lot of money on universities, but it's worth it long term. Like I can deal with this interest. And in fact, having a small mobilization, a partial mobilization with positive cash flow, I'm actually pretty happy with, all things considered. If I can fight the Swiss, it'll be really good. It'll be really, really good. Again, I don't think I need anyone else. I'm hoping they back down. I would love it if they would, because then we could all be happy together. Because this is the population of Switzerland is largely Alemannic. They're a Germanic Germanophone people, so they have very high acceptance in Austria as a whole. Franco-Provençal, well, they're living in their homeland at least. North Italians as well. North Italians have very high acceptance. Oh, God, I'm so thirsty. I don't think the Swiss are going to be able to take me in a fight. I'm going to have to go through a lot of mountains, but that's okay. I think I can live with that. Back down. Back down, you fools. Back down, you fools. Intelligentsia are not happier with me anymore. 2 arms. This will be very good. If I can focus on getting Switzerland down in Liberty Desire real fast, I can get them devoured and annexed, and that'll be nice. I don't desire a huge network of subjects, but I do desire to have control over Switzerland. That's a natural progression from here for me. Let's continue to improve relations with the French. The Prussians, things are not great with them. They're supporting separatism in us, but that's okay. Russians, things are still good. British, same deal. Belgians, we can be better friends. The Dutch, we're rivaling them, and that's okay. Oh, my throat is really, really scratchy right now. I shouldn't talk so much. I'm just kidding. I love talking. Ooh. Mechanical workshops. That's going to unlock a bunch of production methods in my light industry. So let's unlock methods in my light industry, please. Ooh, more. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, you just thought you were going to be more productive, sir. All right, textile mills. Talk to me. How are you doing? You're doing okay. All right, beautiful. That's the end of the war. Is it... I'm going to subvene the export of luxury clothes. I think the real issue is I don't have the trade capacity. I think that's actually my primary problem here. I need to have better trade capacity. Let's improve relations with the Swiss. Happily, we don't have... Their Liberty Desire is going down at a really, really healthy clip. Mostly due to me having an enormous multiplier of army power projection compared to them. Building up a huge army was bad for me financially. High-powered small arms thing is actually ticking forward now, somehow. And if we can get one more month, we're good. So, you know, praise the Lord. Alright. Cash flow is still... Yeah, we're going down in interest as well. So hopefully we can just knock this thing right out, and we'll be producing high-powered small arms very soon. And that will allow us to really corner the arms market, the small arms market, and that'll make our lads the... hey, there it goes. And that'll make our lads the combined Austrian armament conglomerate very, very happy. Because when you're producing prestige goods, everyone wants the stuff you got. And that's very good. Well, pretty productive episode, all things considered. We went to oligarchy to improve our legitimacy, which it's doing a pretty good job of. We went to per-capita taxation to improve our cash flow, which it is doing an excellent job of. Other than that, we retained our very autocratic traditionalist system. We formed such a South German confederation as could be formed. We stole a protectorateship over Switzerland, which we are rapidly moving contowards annexation of. We annexed our crownlands, and overall, things are going quite well. The Contagious Diseases Act. The Catholic Church in Austria, led by Albert Bachmann, are demanding that the government take a stance on prostitution. They request the enforcement of laws that allow police to detain women suspected of being prostitutes and lock hospitals on the grounds that they spread venereal disease. These fallen women are an affront to moral propriety. They must be contained and treated, lest they spread their sinful diseases across the nation. Enact a Contagious Diseases Act, -2 standard of living for the lower strata, Catholic Church happy +1. Or, these laws are inhumane, Catholic Church unhappy. You know I'm going with that second one. -2 standard of living for my entire lower strata, that's just an own goal. I'm just punching myself in the nuts at that point. If you'll forgive the perhaps more graphic metaphor than some would prefer. Alright. Maybe I need to decrease the size of the construction sector. I think that might be the case. But that is going to be a question for next episode, DegenCat. For this episode has now come to an end. My nerds, I have had a great time here. I hope you have had a great time as well, and I will see you on the other side.